The world is a vast, beautiful canvas, waiting for us to leave our mark upon it. For a long time, I found myself tethered to the familiar. The same streets, the same routines, the same skyline greeting me every morning. But deep down, there was a restless spirit, a whisper in the wind that kept calling me to go further, to see more, and to discover who I am outside the walls of my comfort zone. Today, that whisper becomes a roar. Today, a new adventure begins. Welcome back, everyone. If you've been following this channel, you know that I've always dreamed of taking that one big leap into the unknown. And today is the day I finally packed my bags, grabbed my camera, and set out to explore a place I've only seen in photographs. There's a certain magic in the air when you realize that everything you knew is now behind you, and everything ahead is a mystery waiting to be solved. People often ask me, why now? Why leave everything behind for the uncertainty of the road? The truth is, we spend so much of our lives waiting for the perfect moment. We wait for more money, more time, or more experience. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. You have to create it. For me, this adventure isn't just about visiting a new destination. It's about a shift in perspective. It's about learning to embrace the chaos of travel and finding beauty in the unplanned. It's about breaking the cycle of the mundane and proving to myself that I can thrive in environments I don't control. The planning process was intense, to say the least. Mapping out routes that zigzag across regions, looking for hidden gems that aren't on the typical tourist maps, and trying to pack my entire life into a single backpack. I spent weeks researching local customs, learning a few basic phrases of the language, and visualizing what this journey would look like. There were moments of doubt, of course. Questions like, what if I get lost in a city where I don't speak the language? Or, what if things go wrong and I have no one to turn to? But those are the very questions that make an adventure worth having. Because it's in those moments of vulnerability that we truly grow, pushing our boundaries until the unknown becomes familiar. Stepping off the plane, the first thing that hit me was the scent of the air. Crisp, unfamiliar, and filled with the promise of something new. It wasn't just the air, it was the atmosphere of a place that is alive with history and culture. The language around me was a beautiful rhythmic melody I couldn't yet understand, and the colors of the city were more vibrant than any high-definition screen could ever hope to capture. The architecture, the way the light hit the ancient stones, the bustling energy of the people, it was overwhelming in the best way possible. I spent the first few hours just walking, letting my feet lead the way without a map, allowing myself to be a stranger in a strange land. I found myself in a small cobblestone alleyway, hidden away from the main thoroughfares. Here, the walls were covered in intricate street art that told stories of rebellion and hope, and the smell of fresh coffee and baked bread wafted from a tiny corner cafe that seemed to have been there for centuries. This is what I came for, not the big monuments that everyone takes the same photo of, but these quiet, authentic moments that tell the real story of a place. Every corner turned felt like a new chapter opening up. Every conversation with a shopkeeper felt like a bridge being built. I sat there for an hour, just watching the world go by, realizing that I was finally here, and it was better than I imagined. As the days progressed, the adventure took me deeper into the heart of the landscape, leaving the urban sprawl behind for the raw beauty of the countryside. I ventured out of the city and into the rugged wilderness, where the only sounds were the wind in the trees and the distant call of birds. There's something deeply humbling about standing at the foot of a massive mountain range that has stood for millions of years, or looking out over an endless forest that stretches to the horizon. It reminds you how small you are in the grand scheme of things, and yet how incredibly connected you are to the earth beneath your feet. I met people along the way who reminded me that kindness is a universal language that needs no translation. There was the elderly man in a remote village who showed me the way to a hidden waterfall, sharing a piece of fruit and a smile as if we were old friends. There was the group of fellow travelers from different corners of the globe who shared their stories and their food around a crackling campfire. We all come from different walks of life, different cultures, and different backgrounds. But the desire to explore, to learn, and to understand the world is something we all share. These connections, these brief but meaningful encounters, are the true souvenirs of any journey. They stay with you long after the photos have faded. Of course, no true adventure is without its challenges. There were missed buses that left me stranded in small towns, sudden downpours that soaked me to the bone, and moments of sheer physical and mental exhaustion. There were times when the weight of the backpack felt too heavy, and I felt a pang of loneliness, missing the simple comforts of home and the voices of my friends. But it's during these trials that I realized my own inner strength. I learned to adapt to the unexpected, to stay patient when things didn't go as planned, and to find the humor in the mishaps. I realized that the obstacles are not just part of the journey, they are the journey. I remember one afternoon when I was hiking up a steep trail and a thick mist rolled in without warning, completely obscuring the path ahead. For a moment, I was genuinely scared, standing alone in the white silence. But then I sat down on a rock, took a deep, grounding breath, and simply waited. I listened to the stillness. As the mist slowly cleared, it revealed a view of a valley so breathtakingly beautiful, so ethereal in the soft light, that I knew every difficult step was worth it. It taught me a vital lesson. Sometimes you just have to wait for the clouds to part to see the path that has been there all along. As I sit here now, reflecting on the past few weeks, I realize that I am not the same person who nervously boarded that plane. This new adventure has opened my eyes in ways I never could have expected. It's taught me that the world is much larger, much more complex, and much more beautiful than my own small problems. It's taught me to value experiences over possessions, to cherish every fleeting moment of joy, and to be present in the now instead of constantly worrying about the future. Travel isn't just about the places you visit or the miles you cover. It's about the person you become along the way. It's about the courage to say yes to the unknown and the curiosity to keep asking questions about the world and your place in it. This is just the beginning of a much longer story. There are so many more roads to travel, so many more stories to hear, so many more cultures to experience, and so many more adventures waiting just around the corner, calling my name. So if you're sitting at home right now, looking at your screen and wondering if you should take that leap, if you should finally book that ticket or start that project, do it. Start small if you have to, but for heaven's sake, start. The world is waiting for you with open arms, and your own new adventure is just one brave step away. Don't let fear or comfort hold you back from the life that is waiting to be lived.